Good evening, everybody. It's been a long day. We started out super early this morning, and I don't know if the Amazon situation has been resolved. I have been checking it throughout the day, and last time I did look was about 4 hours ago, and it was still showing me the same issues. But tonight, we're going to check out something a little bit different. We're going to check out the new adventure that has been dropped on DnDBeyond for, I guess you could call it or consider it for the new 2024 rule set. And that adventure is Uni and the Hunt for the Lost Unicorn. Now, some of the older folks out there may recognize the name Uni. That is based on the Dungeons and Dragons game, or not game, cartoon rather, that came out in the early 1980s. And in fact, according to my bad memory, but thankfully we have the Googles, according to Googles, it came out on September 17th, 1983. Bonus points if you can tell me what day that was. It should be easy enough to look that up on a calendar, I suppose. But what we have is this adventure, and I'm not going to go over the adventure itself. I don't like to do the spoilers, but what I do want to check out are the appendix. We've got two of them, Appendix A and Appendix B. Appendix A is the rules, and this is basic rules that you can find in the player's handbook, but it goes over Bloodied, and you might recognize Bloodied from 4th edition, and that basically is a creature that is bloodied when it has half its hit points or fewer remaining. And I like that they brought that particular rule set over into the 2024 version. I was always a big fan of that in the 4th edition. But we have other rule sets, emanation, friendly, hostile. It just kind of defines what those rules are. And I just, I don't want to pay too much attention to the rules as it is. We have creatures. This is kind of interesting. The creatures themselves, and you can see right here that it states that the product uses stat blocks from the 2024 Player's Handbook and the 2025 Monster Manual presented below. The stat blocks from the 2025 can't talk tonight. Monster Manual are marked with an asterisk and aren't the final versions. So, for example, the Blink Dog. This is basically what it's going to look like, the stat block for it. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not getting in trouble from WotC for showing this. Anyway, so it shows that it's got an AC of 13, initiative is +3, and you can see the other bonus actions that it has, teleport, which is typical of a Blink Dog. And evidently Blink Dog is its own language now. That's kind of cool. It can understand Sylvan, but it can't speak it. And what do I have here? I have a private chat. I have no clue how this works. Okay, so let me take a quick pause for a second. I'm gonna settle us in on the pre-made characters because that's really what we want to focus on. But I want to take a slight pause and explain something here with what's going on the stream. So it used to be that I had oh, hey, here we go. Here we go. Hey, okay, so check this out, Bear. So this is Bear and I use StreamYard, or have used StreamYard in the past.
Yes.
And they have basically doubled their price. I'm not a fan of that. I was paying
actually
20.
Someone did the math, 125% price increase.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, 125%, that's too much. So I jumped over to Bear actually was kind of telling me a little bit about this other alternate one called Restream. So that's more or less what tonight's stream is a test run. I'm checking out some of the features. I'm just trying to see how everything's going. Now, Bear, I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. I can hop over to my chat and I can do a chat overlay.
Yeah, I love that.
This is awesome. I really love that.
This is great for people who watch on TVs or on cell phones or stuff where they can't see the chat.
Sure. Well, I mean, if they're on a cell phone, chances are they're still not going to see the chat because it's so small.
Well,
but
okay. I'm listen. These kids today with their good eyes and their Dan
well,
Fogelberg records and their hula hoops and their Zima, who knows?
touche, touche. But yeah, so I mean, this is kind of a test run of Restream. I'm digging it so far. I've we're just 5 minutes into this stream, and I'm checking out some of the other features, but it's got the same neat stuff that StreamYard had. But Bear, so tonight's topic focus, if you want.
Yes.
DnDBeyond dropped a new adventure called Uni and the Hunt for the Lost Horn. Did you ever watch the cartoon in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's what this is basically. It's a 5th edition version of those characters. They've all grown up. And tonight we're taking a look at the characters themselves. If I can do this right. There we go. The only thing I wish is that I wish we could rearrange. Hey, you're now the focus of the show.
Hi, welcome to my show. I'll be helping Brian. Oh.
Well, I would like to be able to move the windows on top of each other, but that's okay. Whatever. So the pre-made characters we've got Bobby, Diana, Eric, Hank, Nico, Presto, and Sheila.
Does Eric get a sword finally?
You know what? In this, I don't believe so. I believe he still just has a shield. But we'll get to that. So pre-made character Bobby is human,
Mm-hmm.
is a barbarian,
Mm-hmm.
level 4, which that's one thing that's kind of weird. So if you take a look at Bobby, he's not the little kid anymore. I mean, dude's grown up. He's big. He's buff.
Looks like Frat Bro Conan.
Yeah, but he's only level 4.
Yeah, exactly. Level 4, eh?
Yeah. Not Your Echo asks, no dungeon master? There is a dungeon master on, if you look at the thumbnail for this live stream, the dungeon master is kind of faded in the background. But as far as a pre-made character, no, there's no dungeon master here. So, okay, jumping back into looking at Bobby. He's a barbarian at level 1, gets a feat called Rage. Let's see. He can imbue himself with a primal power called Rage. It's a force that grants extraordinary might and resilience, and you can enter it as a bonus action if you're not wearing heavy armor. Makes sense to me, I suppose. Weapon mastery. He can master 3 types of weapons, simple, martial melee weapons, such as great axes, great clubs. But we know that, I'm just going to skip this part. I want to check out the weapons. So the Thunderous Great Club, that's what the kid had all throughout the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Check this out. While he's attuned to it, his strength is 20.
Huh.
Oh, I'm going to just roll dice, 3d6. Damn it, I rolled a 5. But wait, I have this Thunderous Great Club. It's now 20. I mean, that's pretty nasty at level 4.
Kind of explains why Venger was so hot to get those items.
Yes. And it makes me wonder, like, I need to refresh myself with the cartoon because I really don't remember. I mean, I remember what the club did, but what I don't remember exactly is I don't recall that they ever overtly stated this does this, this does this. You know,
I'm not an expert on the show, so I'd be the wrong person to ask. Maybe someone in the chat knows.
Maybe, but what I'm saying is I don't recall that was ever like flat out mentioned. So the weapon itself has the following additional properties. Oh, it's going to do 1d8 thunder damage extra and an extra 3d8 thunder damage to objects that it hits. And that's
Thunder.
cool.
There you go.
We have a pirate
Oh,
joining us.
crap. I gotta go. You're letting people in from make-believe countries. I gotta go.
Hey, I'll make believe. Seraphis, welcome.
Hi.
We're checking out some of the magic items from the new adventure that dropped.
Yeah,
Is it
today.
and
because I
I've
did
got.
AC/DC? Is that what summoned you?
Well,
If
I
you do
mean, you never know.
AC/DC, a long-haired Aussie just shows up like, "Oh, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Hey, too right."
Well, no, it was because I heard the animated series, and I have the animated series handbook from third edition.
I had that.
Oh, that's cool. I don't have that.
I'll share it later. Yeah, Bobby's level 7 in
That's
third
what I was
edition.
thinking. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
Not Your Echo is asking, like, so grown up Bobby is level 4.
He lost levels.
He ran into a first edition white.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't talk tonight. Yeah, so if you take a look at his character portrait, I mean, he's he's grown up. It's not a little kid. So in that handbook, does it show like what his age was? I mean, was he still the little kid in that, or?
Yep, he was still the little kid. They were all the ages that they were in the show.
Well,
Okay.
Bobby was what, 10-ish in the show?
Something like that, 10 or 12.
Yeah, something like that. It doesn't say specifically in the bio on his page, but it just says that Sheila was, his bigger older sister. So
yeah, and this is something else that's pretty cool too. I like that they're giving us the new character sheets with all this information pre-filled out. Kind of gives you an idea of how everything on the character sheet is going to flow and work. We get the one that's in the player's handbook, but I don't know, I kind of like seeing it filled out. Kind of makes a little bit more sense to me. I mean, not that the other one doesn't make sense, but I'm blathering. Okay, back to the Thunderous Great Club. It also has Clap of Thunder. As a magic action, you can strike the weapon against a hard surface.
I'm sorry, as a what action?
As a magic action.
What the TF is a...
Well, when you take the magic action, you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action or use a feature of magic item that requires a magic action to be activated.
Dear Lord. Okay.
That's a new one. I'm not familiar with a magic action.
Wow, see, I've never heard of that before.
I think I would just, I mean, wouldn't that just be an action? I don't know why it has to be specified,
but I guess we have to have, I guarantee you, they call it a magic action because somewhere in the rules there's something that can only counter magic actions.
Starting to sound a little bit like Magic the Gathering.
I tapped my character sheet for extra mana.
What was that I was saying the other day? Maybe the card game people should have made a...
Well, you almost used a bad word there, didn't you?
Clap, speaking of bad words, the Clap of Thunder, you smack the weapon against a hard surface, creates a 30-foot cone of thunderous energy. You gotta make a DC 15 saving throw or have the prone condition. And then you have Earthquake. It can also cause seismic disturbances in a 50-foot radius.
Ooh.
Sending you something on Discord, GameMasters.
Yeah, y'all all need to jump on Discord. It is we have a hopping place.
See you next Tuesday.
Heart the spelling swearing.
Yes.
Not what that means.
I hate to be that guy, but can we see the bow, please? Hank's bow.
Yeah.
Because that's the only
Hank's
item
bow.
everybody wants.
You don't want to check out Eric's,
She got a sword?
Diana's
Does Eric have a sword?
quarterstaff.
No, why would I want
She's
to
got the quarterstaff of the acrobat. You
Oh,
want
yeah,
to
what does
see
it do?
Eric's
Lack of sword? No, I want to see Hank's
sword.
bow.
He's got the shield of the cavalier,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense. He was a cavalier. Okay.
Ranger, Cavalier, Acrobat, Thief.
You want to see Hank?
Yeah, I want to see his bow.
Well,
he looks
what
like a
about
douche.
what if we just jump right into Nico and
All
check
right,
out
whatever.
him?
Do what you got to do. I don't know who Nico is, but that's fine. Let's go look at Nico.
No, we'll check out. Okay, so he's got the energy bow, right? Hank has an energy bow.
Everything else has this cool name. It's just the energy bow. Okay.
Well, that's what it always was. It was always just an energy bow. You gain a +1 bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. It has no string, which is very cartoon accurate. Each time you pull your arm back in a firing motion, a magical arrow made of gold energy appears, knocked and ready to fire. Let's see. It's going to do force damage instead of piercing damage on a hit. And it disappears after it hits or misses. Until it disappears, it emits bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. It has... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm reading the 3rd edition version as well.
Oh, yeah. Give us a comparison. What does it say?
Okay, so Hank's energy bow acts as a +2 composite longbow that utilizes strength. It's unstrung and fires arrows of pure magical force that deal 2d6 points of damage. It can be used to fire normal magic and normal bows rather than arrows. Normal arrows.
There's something
when
about
strung.
tonight. We can't talk. It's weird.
I'm fine, but
It'll happen. You just haven't been infected yet.
it's
And
a virus.
when it's unstrung and pulled back so that it's ready to fire a magic arrow, it sheds light like a torch. So it sheds torchlight.
I hate to say it, but the 2024 version sounds better.
Well, no, because I don't see that it does any damage at all. I mean, it states an arrow produced by this weapon deals force damage instead of piercing damage on a hit, and it disappears after it hits or misses the target. So I guess it just does base arrow damage.
Oh, technically Hank's energy bow in 3rd edition fires the arrow that it shoots. I was going to say bow again. The arrow that it shoots is a magic missile.
Okay.
So it strikes unerringly.
So this one also has arrow of restraint. If you hit a target, it has to make a DC 15 strength saving throw, or it's restrained for 1 minute.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. Arrow of transport. You can shoot an arrow at a target you can see within 60 feet. And it teleports the target to an unoccupied space you can see within 10 feet of you.
His bow didn't have that ability.
And then energy ladder, and I kind of vaguely recall this happening in the cartoon. As a magic action, you can loose a flurry of energy arrows from the bow at a wall up to 60 feet away, and they become glowing rungs that stick out from the wall, forming a magical ladder up to 60 feet long that you can climb. And I really want to say that they've done that in the cartoon. But I need to really go back and rewatch it. It had, 27 episodes? About 30 minutes each?
25 or 26 episodes.
What does Google say? Yeah, 3 seasons. 3 seasons, 27 episodes.
I thought the 27th one didn't get made.
I have no idea.
Or is
I
it
mean,
the
it's what
28th
Google
one?
says, so I mean, it's got to be wrong.
Fair.
Yeah, Google is sourcing from Reddit now, apparently.
And then jumping into Presto, this was one of my favorite characters. My favorite character is Sheila, but he's got the hat of many spells. And I'm kind of curious to see how it was presented in 3rd edition. So, Seraphis, do kind of a side-by-side with me here.
Yep.
So he can use the hat as a spellcasting focus. While holding the hat, any spell that you cast using the hat gains a special somatic component, just meaning that you have to reach into the hat and pull and pull the spell out to cast it, which is exactly the way it worked in the cartoon.
Oh, there's a difference there already, but yep.
And then it also has what's called Unknown Spell. While you hold it, you can try to cast a level 1+ spell that you don't know. Spell must be on the wizard spell list, and it must be of a level that you can cast. Once you decide on the spell, you have to expend a spell slot of the spell's level. Makes sense. Then, to determine whether you cast the spell, make an intelligence check. If you succeed on that check, you cast the spell normally. If you fail, you have to roll a random effect instead, which again, that's on this. I guess it goes up to the D1. You could pull out your big golf ball and roll the D100 to figure out the random effect, which again mimics the spirit of the cartoon, because how many times was he trying to pull spells out and just couldn't ever get the right one?
Mm.
So what does the 3rd edition?
Okay, so with the 3rd edition version, the hat's basic function allows Presto to pull out any spell component for a spell out of the hat up to 1,000 gold worth of a material component. So it has some uses outside of just being Presto's hat. Any wizard would find that pretty useful.
Yeah.
In addition, the Hat of Many Spells can either empower a spell, or it can be utilized to use any wizard/sorcerer spell up to the level that Presto can cast. However, in either of those cases, the hat has an unexpected function, thus you told to refer to the DMG guide and the magic item Rod of Wonder to roll on the random chance table of what might happen.
Okay.
Which some amusing things that can happen are 50 50 gemstones worth up to 5,000 gold could pour out instead of the magic effect happening. Also, you could turn into a turtle. It's a lot of fun. The random effects basically that can just happen from the screw ups. But yeah,
Presto's hat?
pun.
Is this Presto's hat?
Yeah, this is Presto's hat.
From 3rd edition. Yeah. So
Yep.
5th edition. I mean, you guys can see here on screen. Like if you roll an 81, for example, a creature will appear in an unoccupied space as close to you as possible. It's not under your control, and it acts as it normally would. And then it disappears after 1 hour, or if it drops to 0 hit points. It could be a camel, a constrictor snake, an elephant, or a mule. If you roll a 100, this is pretty cool. You pull a magic item out of the hat. Roll 1d6 to determine the rarity. And the DM will choose the item, and it disappears after 1 hour if it's not consumed or destroyed before then. That's kind of cool. But Sheila was always my favorite character in the show. Because I think mainly I had always played rogues. And so when I didn't know what I was doing, when I was playing the game. And so I'd watch the cartoon and just kind of observe what all she did. And that's kind of where I pulled inspiration from for my character. But her equipment, it's super simple. It's just a cloak of invisibility. It's got 3 charges, regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. When you wear it, you can pull your hood over your head. You're invisible for an hour.
Oh, there's a difference here. Sheila's cloak of invisibility acts 5 times per day as the invisibility spell, but up to 2 times a day, she can use it as a greater invisibility spell on herself as well.
So
that
that
she can.
yeah, lets her just kind of really be undetected. Well, I mean, because and the difference between invisibility versus greater invisibility is what?
So regular invisibility, you can't really interact with anything, and when you take an action, you become visible again.
You become visible, right?
Greater invisibility, you stay invisible.
Yeah. And so looking at how they have the condition marked here, so they've got it, and of course, we've just seen a big shift between the 2014 version to the 2024 version. And so they have it set up between legacy definition, and that's kind of cool that they separate this out. Because that's kind of one of my I don't want to say complaints, but one of my concerns is with this particular adventure. Let's say I've gone all in for the 2024 version. I'm not going to pick up the 2014 books at all. As a DM, how do I run this game without the Dungeon Master's Guide? Are there situations in here? And again, I purposely have not. I mean, I have read the adventure, but I'm purposely not citing what it is, what you do in it. And this is a rhetorical question, but are there situations in here that will call for information that you need to have from the Dungeon Master's Guide?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, always.
In what edition of D&D have you ever needed the Dungeon Master's Guide?
None of them. I mean, to be perfectly honest, none. Man, but for that matter, you don't need any books.
Well, okay, if you want to get really, really dungeon about it, but I mean,
yeah.
The point is that without the DMG, you can run it if you have the PHP.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's true.
Well, I mean, for an artificer, you need the DMG because you need all
Well,
those
I wouldn't let
crafting
a
rules.
artificer in my game because they're garbage and they break games.
I like playing as an artificer.
You would.
I like chaos.
I hate D&D, but here we are.
Well,
let me tell you how I got sucked into this, Sarah. Hey, I'm streaming. You want to come join me? I'm about to go live. Here's an invite. Great. What's the topic? No answer. All right, let's go over. Hey, we're talking about fucking D&D.
I am one
You're a
manipulative
sneaky old
bastard.
Grinch, sir. You're a sneaky old Grinch.
Well, he didn't even message me. I had to, finally...
He didn't message me either. I messaged him to come on my show.
I was apparently getting tagged on Discord, and when I finally got around to being able to look...
Hang on. He didn't message you. Oh, now you know how that feels.
Y'all need to just hug and kiss and make up.
Taste it, you Aussie bitch. Taste it. Out where the river broke. Anyway.
Okay, oh, thanks. So now that's going to be stuck in my head all night.
The bloodwood and the desert oak. Anyway, so the point of this entire thing is kill them all, take their magic items, be unstoppable.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, can you imagine one character that had all of those magic items?
Yes, his name is Warduke, and he would just
okay.
He would just boot stomp these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's funny? In the 3rd edition, it's got the crafting rules for how to create each of these items.
Does
Third
it?
edition was so broke.
Yep.
I got to check it out. Well, see, and I'm hoping that the 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide goes into heavy detail on magic crafting. They've been saying that that's going to happen, that's going to be in there.
Yeah, they say a lot of things.
Well, okay,
However,
fair
as
point.
I've iterated many times, Crawford is a manager, not a game designer. He's basically equivalent to Nolan from Ready Player One.
Yes, he is. He's essentially, the way to describe him is he likes to say things.
Yeah.
See, Brian, you got on the two worst people to talk about D&D with.
No. This is perfect. Wait, where do we go?
I
There we
am
are.
king!
Yes. Check that out.
Bow before me!
So what's the topic tonight, Bear?
Why D&D is baby gaming and you should play better games that require more thought.
What's a game that requires more thought?
Shadowrun, Cyberpunk, basic role-playing, Rollmaster, MERP,
Candyland?
the Shadow of the Demon Lord, Warhammer Fantasy,
Monopoly?
Rogue Trader. I could just keep naming games that aren't D&D, and all of them would require more thought than D&D.
Highlander, the CCG?
That's not a role-playing game, sir.
It can be.
You've
Depends
already
on how you
failed
play it.
at your own qualifier. I'm very disappointed in you, Beardo.
Did you ever play that game?
What, Highlander the CCG?
Yeah.
I don't CCG. I magicked, I jihaded, and
that's true. Yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying it.
CCGs weren't my thing. Oh, and I Legend of the Five Ringed. That was fun. I played.
I've got that RPG still.
I like the card game. I didn't care for the RPG.
Fun.
I will never want to role play in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Because everyone makes feudal Japan far worse than feudal Japan actually was.
Okay, and this is me playing around. So now, Seraphis, you're king. What is the topic for tonight?
Boobs.
Can't go wrong with that.
Did you say boobs or booze?
Boobs.
Either one.
I'm in.
Yep. Either one.
I like boobs. Who doesn't? Some people have more than one.
Not your echo. Wasn't there a Highlander knockoff TTRPG called Immortals? Yes, there was. And I have about 5 of those books. I've got the core book. I even have, God, I can't remember if it was a cassette tape or a CD, but it was one of the coolest pieces of little swag that I've ever seen come with a game, period. You pop it in, listen to it, but it's like, it's these two hosts that are talking on the radio, and they're taking random calls from the city about weird things going on, weird people walking around. And then they play music that was, custom made for the game and all this stuff. And it's just really surreal and really cool. I like that one.
Yeah, it's not. I'm reading the description of Immortal, the Invisible War. Is that the one?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not Highlander.
No, I mean, it's
the Arachne, the Eremites, the Hemari, the Magdalene, the Morrigan, the Osiri, and they're like fates, seekers, muses, whisperers, paladins.
It's very similar to it's actually probably closer to vampire than
Highlander. It sounds like a vampire, but with immortals. Cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. Cute. I would give that a try because it sounds cute. You know what I mean? Sounds like it could be fun.
It was interesting, but the rule set in it was very convoluted, pretty complicated. But once you threw out half of them and started playing it as if it were a World of Darkness game, it made a whole lot more sense.
Well, it is designed in 1993, so complex rules, the deuce, you say?
Yes.
By the way, was Venger available in the stat blocks as an enemy for the animated stuff?
For this one, no. Hold on. I got to answer this one. Goths in Rome asks, My Little Pony review when, GameMasters? As soon as my channel makes enough money for me to be able to afford purchasing the book,
I know that feeling.
then I'll do it.
Or when a humble bundle happens.
Or if a humble, but yeah, if I can nab it. But see, I need to have physical copy. I don't. I mean, I'm not opposed to digital, but I want physical.
You're the
Well,
weirdest grognard I've ever met. I want you to know that. You
I,
have like all
I'm
these
usually,
grognardy qualities, but then you're like all about 5e. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
I was going to say, I'm usually the same, but when it comes to, I can get all the PDF material for like under $50, or I buy the core rulebook for $110, I'm going to be like $30. Sure.
That's kind of the way it is now. It's like I
Yeah.
can get this new thing for $60, $80, $100, and I don't know if I like it or not yet. Or I can get all these PDFs for nothing. Huh. Which way am I going to go? The deuce, you say?
So, Seraphis, to answer your question on this, no, neither Kelec nor Venger is their stat blocks are not in this. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point we did, but I can confirm that that both are actually you can't see it because it's there we go. That both are involved in this particular adventure. But yeah, unfortunately, neither one of them have stat blocks in it.
Hey, Goths in Rome, send me a link on Discord, please. Thank you. I know what /TG is, but send it to me, please. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I just spent a metric shit ton of money getting my BRP collection up and running, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm very good with it, right? It was either that or it was I was going to invest in D&D 2024, get the 3 special edition books because I really like the cover art. I think they're beautiful. And so, you know what? I'll give it a fair run for a year. I'll make my money back on the payment on view time and stuff like that from Google,
Sure.
and I'll see if it's worth it. And then everybody started talking about it and revealing the secrets, and I'm like, why? I just turned to that meme. Why was this necessary? This was not necessary. This is like an iPhone update. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still running the iPhone 14. I didn't get the 16, 15, and I'm not getting the 16 because neither of them, other than changing over to USB-C and giving you a couple more camera things, do anything to make the phones better. Well, this
and
2024
how many
is...
cameras do you have on that thing?
Those are lenses.
Oh.
And all of them. This is an Imperial probe droid, clearly.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and so this is the bottom of my Samsung, and you'll note this right here. That's an audio jack.
Yeah, nice.
The newest version doesn't have
Don't have
that.
it. No, I had a Galaxy right before I moved back to iPhone. I was on Android for about 5 years, and they when they got rid of the audio jack, I'm like, well, if I can't use my little headphones, why do I care about your phone anymore?
Right. Well,
But anyway,
because
back
they
to my
want to
point.
pedal the damn Bluetooth thing, and I like wires.
Back to my point. I like wires too, but I have 2 cats. Back to my point. My point is that this
Fair enough.
update is not a valid, needed update. There's nothing in it that revolutionizes the game or really unlocks the next tier that they couldn't have just put in a source book called, Mordenkainen's awesome ideas for your D&D campaign. You know what I mean? Like, they could have just done that.
No, I think the reason behind it
Is money.
Money. It was a marketing move. It was to keep it was to update the brand.
Yep.
It was to put a shiny gold foil seal on it that rubs off.
Yeah, I heard.
And by the way, I did get Bear. Don't be mad.
You're gonna make me upset. You got the special edition cover. Watch.
I haven't even taken it out of the shrink wrap yet.
I'll send you my address on Discord. You can just mail it off to me.
So
yeah, it's beautiful. It's freaking beautiful.
But you know what you're going to hate me for doing?
What?
I plan on doing a review of this to see how sturdy it is.
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to play Frisbee across the road with it.
Okay. That's nice.
Then I could send
Why
it
would
to
I
you.
why would I hate you for that?
Well, because then I could send it to you.
No, you wouldn't though. So why would I hate you for that? I don't
Why
have an
would I not?
expectation.
Why
Because
would
it
I
could
not?
cost $50 to send it to me.
Oh, you want me to pay for it?
Yeah. So I'd be paying for it, and I ain't paying $50 for a book that I can buy for $50.
Right.
So Frisbee away, my boy.
Yeah.
Carry on my wayward son.
And
Sorry,
that is
I'm
a
in
show that
mood.
needs to have another season added to it.
Which one?
Supernatural.
Don't the
No.
various spin-offs
No, it
count?
doesn't. What is wrong with you? Are you high? Have you been huffing print ink again?
Every day.
My God. The PHB is wrong. Bye. Salut Jean-El Montréal,
Oh, hey.
Montréal, à la prochaine, ça fait plaisir.
I want to include these guys.
I miss the Trove too. And I blame the guy who did Zweihander for its demise, because he's the one who went and caused the big stink about the place.
About what?
The Trove was
That-
a place where you could get every game on PDF.
Gotcha.
Yar. And everyone knew it existed, and people just
Sure.
kind of pretended it didn't and didn't care. And then this twat who made a Warhammer clone called Zweihander found out his book was on there, and he made a big giant stink about it, and he did a whole bunch of complaints, and then they got their server taken away, and then. Bigger companies were ignoring it, just like pretending it didn't exist. But this guy
If you
decided
don't
he
draw
had to be
attention to
Metallica.
it, no one will know it's there.
Yeah, but he had to be Metallica versus Napster.
Gotcha. Well, and look at where Metallica is now. Didn't they
Rich.
just put a new album out earlier this year?
Did they? I don't care.
Hmm.
Never liked them, never will.
I like some of their songs, but I honestly don't own a single album. I don't own a single CD. Don't own a single cassette of them. Now, Tiffany, on the other hand,
I think I'm alone now. And her Playboy spread. You know what's really funny? You know what's really, really funny? When I was back in a young man in Gen X and all that fun stuff, I thought Debbie Gibson was ick and Tiffany was, oh. Then I saw both their Playboy spreads. And I'm like, wow, Debbie Gibson got stupid hot. And Tiffany just looks like that stripper I knew. You know what I mean?
oh man. So, what from y'all's perspective? I want to kind of talk a little technical stuff here.
Sure.
You guys are kind of seeing some of the behind the scenes on your side of things for Restream. And this may be lost to a few folks in the chat or viewers that are watching after the fact. So to kind of give a brief rundown real quick, I used to use StreamYard for my live streams, and they doubled their price. Bear pointed out earlier, it was 125% price increase. That's too much. I can't afford $50 a month to stream. So jumped ship, canceled my subscription to that, checked out Restream. So this particular live stream is kind of a test run for me of what that is. So I'm kind of checking out all of the different features that it offers. But to you guys, to Seraphis, Bear, on y'all's side of things, do you notice anything majorly different?
I find Restream, I'm not comfortable yet with the customization to bring in like my banners and all that stuff yet, but I will be once I learn how to do it, because I know we can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just have to figure out how to do it. Where with StreamYard, I don't need to think about it. It's automatic. I know how to do it now. You know what I mean? So it's just a learning curve. But I like the fact that Restream is charging a reasonable rate.
Yes.
My question is, are you using a free version or a paid version?
I'm currently using the pay version, but I'm using their lowest tier. It's like, for me, it's $17 a month.
Yeah, for me, it's the same price I was paying for StreamYard, like 20 something a month, you know?
Now, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I am capped at being able to broadcast at 720. Jumping up a tier, I think it was $36, $37, something like that a month. But jumping up to that tier, I can stream at 1080.
Which isn't really needed.
No.
Because even at 720, YouTube still makes you look like shit when you stream.
Yeah, unless you're streaming in 4K. I mean, which it does have that, but that's like $70 a month or something.
Yeah, new. I think
I'm not that
new.
Yeah, I'd have to have a lot more subscribers at that point.
Now, I have a question for you. Did you see the Guardsman miniature yet?
I did. I got the email. Yeah. I got 2 emails on it.
Did you see the one, though, where it was all printed up?
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking good. And I talked to the modeler. He's going to see if he can thicken up the cape for people, since people are all whining about the cape being too flimsy.
Yeah, I think he said his solution was to clip part of it, and it fit perfectly.
Yeah, and another streamer, DM James, was like, just use this more solid, flexible. There's flexible resins you can get that hold their shape, but they're more bendy and they don't break as easily, and you'll be fine. But people are going to complain, so we got to make sure people are happy.
So, for those of you that are kind of curious, don't know what Bear's talking about, he did a Kickstarter for a game called Heroic, or backer kit, sorry, for a game called Heroic, and was that part of the stretch goal, or was that part an add-on? The miniatures.
It was a stretch goal.
Okay. So, and they're going to be the STLs.
Yep, they're STL files. Everybody who backed, no matter who you are, gets an STL file. Get the STL. There's 7 characters are going to be made, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it's good looking. What do you know? What program he used to create those?
He's a 3D modeler. Like, he basically makes his living
pretty much any
30 centimeter statues, of which he designed these at the 30 centimeter scale. But as Jason's print shows, you can drop it down to 35, and it looks and it looks great.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah,
Some
I'm excited for that.
Complaining. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I'm excited for that to come out. And I know it's going to be.
Me too.
I know. and Goths in Rome, that's another reason why I don't have the fundage to back or to pick up my pretty pony, My Little Pony, whichever it is, because I've backed too many games this year, and my wallet is not happy with me.
Speaking of, I amused Grim greatly, and by amused I mean infuriated, because I just backed another project.
Shit, what'd you do?
Kobold Press's Labyrinth setting came out on Kickstarter, so I jumped on that.
Who's what?
Kobold Press.
What did they put out?
Okay.
It's called Labyrinth.
No affiliation with the movie, though, right?
Yeah, no. This is kind of their version of, like, from what I'm understanding, at least, it's like their version of, like, Sigil or Spelljammer for their kind of cosmology.
Sorry,
you don't like anything fun, do you?
That was an uncontrollable reaction to woo-woo bullshit, not fantasy.
No artificers, no Spelljammer.
If I want to play a fucking sci-fi game, I'm going to play a sci-fi game. If I want to play a dimension hopping game, I'm going to play Sliders, the role-playing game. If I want to play a fantasy game, I'm going to play Sliders.
That's another one that needs to have another season.
Yes, that I agree with. Especially now
with the actual proper original cast,
with the same cast. Yeah. Exactly, they're all still alive, so why not?
Why not?
But when you start doing the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup games, I just stopped having interest in them. That's why I hated Shadowrun. I didn't hate Shadowrun because of the stupid system that everybody complains about. I hated Shadowrun because it was like, I love Cyberpunk. Oh, look, it's Cyberpunk for the D&D crowd. Ugh.
Actually, it was more Cyberpunk for the Earthdawn crowd.
Ooh, I'm going to tell Max Lee how you said that. Him going to fight you.
Well, he can go ahead. He already said everyone sucks, so...
Everyone does suck. I got a lightning train.
Not to hear Seraphis talk about it. Oh, no, Seraphis makes it interesting. And so that's okay. So Seraphis, that's what I want to see on your channel. I want to see you talk some lore about, 3.5, third edition version of go even further back if you have to. I would love to hear more about that.
Have you been talking to Blue Brian?
No. Has he said the same thing?
He said the same thing to me last night.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, listen, when two minds hit, that's kismet.
No,
Okay,
I think it's just when I get ganged up on with Brian's.
well, I can change my name. So let me start bringing this all back around full circle. Now I'm going to really do a stress test here because I'm going to leave the chat up and try to share this. Is that too small? Can you guys actually see what's going on there?
Yeah, no, but I'm old.
I've got good eyes and I've got a pretty big screen, so I can see it.
Is that your children singing in the background, Sarah?
Oh, I was hoping you couldn't actually hear that.
I just hope it's copyright free.
She's pretty tone deaf, so it's okay.
So, from what you guys have seen, well, actually, let me ask a different question first, and then I'll wrap it up with that question. Seraphis, okay, he's momentarily out. Up there he is. Seraphis, what was your favorite character from the 80s cartoon? Okay.
Sorry. Can I say Venger?
Absolutely. Bear, what was yours?
Sorry, from the D&D cartoon specifically?
Yeah. I'm attempting to get it back on topic. You don't remember, do you?
No, Tiamat. I hated that cartoon. I did not like that cartoon at all. I thought it was a garbage cartoon.
Really?
Guy hasn't got a sword, bro. Because standards and practices wouldn't let him have a sword.
Fair enough.
Guy's a cavalier, he's a coward, and he's running around with a shield. Get out of town with your stupid show. Plus, also, the amount of grognards who love that show yet crap on the Unearthed Arcana when like half the classes in that show are from the Unearthed Arcana make no sense to me at all. That's right. You started this by not telling me I was getting into a D&D chat. You suck it up now.
Hey, that's me. So we haven't looked at Nico's mace. There's not much to it.
Who is Nico?
Nico is Nico. Nico is
were they in like one episode or something?
She's a cleric.
That's a she?
Well, no, this is Presto. Nico is right here.
I never saw this character. What episode was she in?
What do you mean? What episode? She's went throughout the whole series.
No, she wasn't. Shut up.
No, he's doing his thing again.
Yeah, of course he's doing
it's his thing. Wait. Okay, so for you to say that I'm doing my thing again means that there's been a private conversation somewhere that I have a thing that I do. So what is this thing that I do?
Yeah, there was no private conversation. It's just observable fact, sir.
What is it? Because I'm oblivious to it.
It's your... I'm going to say your streak of chaotic evil.
I'm going to say it's your annoying thing.
I won't argue with either of those. But Nico is a human cleric and has cleric spells as opposed to warlock spells being a cleric. Uses a mace, has 6 charges, regains 1d6 expended charges daily at dawn. And you can use it to cast Summon Celestial.
That's stupid. Also, did they do this because they didn't allow anyone to play as Uni? Because in 3rd edition, the animated handbook, Uni is the one with all the healing spells. and has a proper character sheet with the rest of them.
That's possible, because Uni is not considered a pre-made character in this. Uni is in this, but Uni is not a pre-made character in this.
Well, they can go bugger off then, can't they?
Well,
Why can't you play as a unicorn?
There's a little bit more to it. I know. I want to play as a unicorn, damn it. Hey, in My Pretty Pony, I wonder if I could just slap a horn on and play as a unicorn.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I mean, just looking at, because I've gotten the Transformers game from Renegade, and from what I can see, the customization is pretty decent. So I would imagine that you can play as a knight-wielding unicorn in My Little Pony.
See, so I'm having a difficult time trying to stay on topic because you just said that you've got the Transformers game from them. And now I want to go off on a whole hour's worth tangent just talking about that. But I'm not.
Can you guys maybe work some BattleTech and some 40K into it so I can completely just not pay attention?
No, I don't like those games.
Well, I don't like Transformers.
But they're more than meets the eye. They're robots in disguise.
They're far less than meets the eye, actually. They're far, far less than meets the eye.
Speaking of Transformers, I saw a preview for a new movie coming out. I guess it's a cartoon, before they were Transformers, before...
Transformers 1.
Yeah. It's going to be a hard pass for me. I remember reading the comic, and they had the origin story of how they landed on Earth. They were not cars, trucks prior to getting to Earth. They were... I don't know. I just have all kinds of... Yeah. See, those of you in chat, did we leave any of the characters out that we haven't looked at? We haven't looked at Diana and her quarterstaff. We just kind of glanced at it. Because Bear wanted to look at Hank's bow.
Okay, everyone wanted to look at Hank's bow. Don't blame me, because it's the coolest thing in the cartoon. We all know it. Every single player wanted that magic item in their games.
I just wanted the cloak of invisibility.
See, Hank also has leadership feats as well, so he can improve everyone else around him.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go watch a couple of the cartoon episodes just to get a refresher on it.
Remember my plan of getting the book here instead for $50?
Yeah.
Sold out.
Really?
No, that just drives home my never going to play this game. Maybe on PDF.
Do you have a local game store?
Yeah, I have 3 or 4. There's one here in Quebec, and then there's a few in Ontario I can order from. And the one here in Quebec wants like $70 for it.
Oh my God.
And $66 before taxes. And the one in Ontario that I normally get my stuff from, because they're cheaper by a long shot, only want $54, so it would have been like a $60 thing, but they're sold out.
Oh man!
But the place that wants $70 for it, they give you 10% back as store credit, and every 10th order you can cash in your store credit. So I've gotten free books.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah,
kind of some frequent flyer miles. That's not bad.
Exactly. I like loyalty programs, but yeah, I just can't bring myself. I'm looking at it again, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's D&D. Yeah.
Well, I have an affinity for D&D though. I like it pretty much regardless of edition. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is, and it probably plays directly into Wizards of the Coast's marketing ploy, but at the end of the day, I'm familiar with the system. As you said earlier, you don't necessarily need the DMG to run it. I know I've got so much of that knowledge from past editions and 5th edition just ingrained in my mind that I don't need the books because I know the material. And for me to pick up, just name a random game, a random role-playing game. Star Trek, for example.
Sure.
I would never pick that up to run it because I don't have that knowledge. I don't have that intimate knowledge of how to run the game where I feel that I could do a competent enough job at doing it.
Yeah, by the
Skills.
way, to answer Not Your Echo's question, eBay Canada, the only copy in Canada for available is $99.95.
Ouch.
Free shipping. So that's nice.
And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and end the segment of us talking about which I guess technically it kind of ended about 20 minutes ago because we've gone severely off topic of talking about the Uni and the Hunt for the Lost Horn pre-made characters. I just wanted to focus on those, look at them, but also do a test of this new streaming platform. But for now, we're going to stop sharing that. We're going to go back to just us in the chat and see where it devolves from here.
So again, my idea that I had was as an effort to grow my channel and turn it into something that might generate a bit more revenue that I can then pour into Heroic, was to basically get D&D 2024, treat it seriously, and run a campaign. Why not? Might draw some eyes, right? And give it a fair shake. But I've watched your videos. I've watched a couple of other people's videos. I'm always like, seems like all the stuff I hated about 5e just got worse and compounded more.
I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong on that. I think it is I do think that it could be a matter of perspective. I don't have as strong a conviction against WotC as others do. I probably should. You know, I've certainly dealt with my fair share of shit from them, and I've given my fair share of shit back at them. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had pre-order issues. I've had email communication issues going back and forth with them. I mean, you know, we all have those bad horror stories, and you know, I'm still ticked off about the whole OGL thing. I think that's going to be a sour taste for years to come. But that said, I have an unwavering familiarity with the system,
Sure, and I
and
get that.
yeah, and all of the players that I play with, we may jump into other games on occasion, but we always funnel back to D&D. Dragonbane, you know, when I was in my Dragonbane kick about a month or two ago, you know, it was everything I could do to get them to play it, and they had fun, but they wanted to get back to D&D.
Oh, you're not wrong. But the thing is I have. So look, the primary reason I did a poll, right, to see what my audience thought. It was surprisingly in favor of me getting it and running the D&D on the stream. It was surprisingly in favor, like by 10 points. Like it was a 10-point margin in the final assessment, right? Like 10% more said do it versus not do it. But one person knew exactly how to screw with my head and put a message saying, "You've railed on D&D so much, would it not be hypocritical for you to then do this?" It wasn't you, Sarah, and it wasn't him. It was someone else completely. And I just sat there staring at that message going, shit. Principles have to count for something in this world.
They do. Principles do have to count for something in this world, but you are also free to change your mind regardless of the reason.
Absolutely.
If the reason is to have more eyes on your channel, that's a valid enough reason. If your reason is because you just have a morbid curiosity to see exactly how it works, that's a valid reason. If it's to play the game once and then shred up all the paper and throw it in the cat box to see how much shit the cat can put on it, that's a valid reason as well.
Can you get comfortable, please? Thank you. Dear God, this animal.
I have the same problem with kids, Bear.
Yeah, except I can lock these in another room and not worry about them.
I mean, technically, I can lock them in another room too, but I shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't. That would be bad parenting. Wow, you're super nice. What's going on with you, buddy? You're purring. You're being sweet. What do you want? You want something. Anyway, yeah, no, I agree with you, Brian. I agree with you on all that. But at the end of the day, okay, love you. At the end of the day, principles have to stand for something. I have taken my stance. I
Yeah,
have
that's
picked my
fair.
hill. I have planted my flag, and I have said, "Come at me, bro."
To who?
Therefore, to the world,
Okay.
every time I go on a fucking stream, wow, that really was clumsy. Every time I go on a stream these days, it's D&D. Let's talk about fantasy role playing. Let's talk about this, okay, and it degenerates into D&D, and I'm sick of it. There is more to role playing than D&D. There is more to fantasy than D&D. It is McDonald's of role playing. And I get it. I get that craving for McDonald's a couple of times a year. I got to
Yeah.
have them double cheeseburgers. They're so damn good. Or I got to have a quarter pounder with cheese and bacon or a double quarter pounder. But every time after I do it, I'm like,
Yeah.
did I do
Yeah.
that? Every time I run a D&D campaign, I'm like, I miss D&D. Let's play some D&D. It could be fun. 3-4 sessions in, I'm like, why the fuck did I do that?
I get it.
And I love the game, the campaign. I love the players. I love the characters. I love the story. And I stare at that system like it's just disgusting to me. So I am a BRP guy now. I really like BRP. I'm making my effort, and my hill is BRP that I stand on, and that's where I'll live for now. But D&D, I just can't. I can't. It would feel like I have no honor and no integrity if I did.
What if you did an older edition?
No, because I rail on class and level systems.
Hmm.
I literally refer to it as, and everyone in the chat, feel free to get mad at me, baby's first role-playing game. I don't know what to play. I can't think of a character. Well, here, you could be a fighter, or you could be a mage, or you could be a thief. Oh, now I don't have to think. All my stuff's decided for me.
Well, how is
BRP?
that different than Star Trek or Star Wars? You
Okay,
could be
Star Trek
an
and Star
engineer.
Wars. Yes.
Oh,
Now, hang on. Those are jobs. Those are things your
okay.
character does for the ship and all that type of stuff. They're and it's based on a TV show about being in the space navy. Okay, so I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I've,
yeah.
I've had this argument before. That's a false equivalency because you're not in the fantasy navy. You're in. I'm going out and plundering dungeons for some reason, like a crazy person, right?
Okay.
So it's very, very pigeonholing, and I get why it happens. It allows people to avoid analysis paralysis. It allows people to feel like they've got a niche that they can play in, and all this stuff. But ultimately, it eventually just becomes: I want my level, I want my magic, I want my hit points, I want my ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
no, I agree with you on that. And it can devolve into that. I think Not Your Echo actually states it pretty good. This is part of how I feel about D&D. That they like D&D mostly because there's no shortage of people to play with.
That's fair.
If
Well,
if
you
I
just got to
want,
punch a few people into playing other systems. That's
And why conventions are not allowed in Australia? No, but like I remember the time 95,
oh, I
96,
do too.
97, 98. No one was playing D&D
Yeah,
anymore.
no, we were playing everything else.
Everything, Deadlands, Star Wars, Vampire,
But here's the big thing. Okay, consider this. At that point, Dungeons and Dragons had been out for almost
20 years.
20
20,
years.
yeah.
Okay. This new, and I'll say this new crop of players
Yeah.
has really kind of only been into it for the past, I'm not
10.
even going to say 10 years, really since Stranger Things came out. So say for the past 5 years, that's when it's really hit the pop culture, for this current generation of players. And so we still have 15 years to go before, and I promise you, in 15 years, that core group of players, the ones that are hard and heavy into it now, they're going to hit that wall where they're like, let's check out these other games.
Oh, no, I get that, but I'm already there.
I know.
And I've been there for a long time. So so here's the thing. So I have a campaign world, which I think you guys have seen some of the videos I've made on it, or you've seen maybe some of the live action games or the live stream games I've run in it. I've been working on that game for over 2 decades now, that campaign, well over 2 decades. And I went on a tear from 2007 until this year looking for the right game system that fit my world and didn't break my world and didn't make me have to change things in my world to match the game rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tried so many. You guys don't. There's fantasy games I'll tell you about you've never probably even heard of. You know, like I feel like Kung Fu Joe, master of Kung Fu, karate, jujitsu, and a whole bunch of other shit you fools ain't never heard of. You know, like that's how I feel about fantasy games. I've played a lot of fantasy games, and at the end of the day, basic role playing, and I never tried basic role playing. I never considered basic role playing. That's the funny part. And then this year I gave it a try to consider it, specifically Cthulhu Dark Ages, and I was like, oh my god, this almost fits like a glove. It's almost perfect for what I want and what I need and what I like. Looks like I'm home after all this time.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting setting.
Well, the thing is, I don't fault people who want to play D&D. Play your D&D, have fun, ignore my pejorative little comments, my little bait comments about baby's first role-playing game. That's just me being annoyed that every goddamn conversation I have about role-playing games always degenerates into D&D.
It's because it's the most common denominator there.
But these conversations are with people who have played multiple games. That's the difference. If I was talking to just a bunch of randos at the gaming store, I get it. But I'm talking to people who are like, oh, I love, Middle-earth role-playing. I love Rollmaster. They have all these games they love. But for some reason, we always end up in a D&D conversation.
I want to play a game of Hackmaster again.
But it's just D&D.
Yeah, but it was hell-bent on being comedy. And I mean hell-bent on being comedic.
Yeah, not for me. But I can understand the appeal. Remember, I'm the guy who liked 4th edition because it was different finally.
Like this is where Seraphis tunes out and is listening to music.
Why? We're talking about D&D
exactly.
Because I mentioned 4th edition.
No, it's because of D&D.
I don't blame them. But anyway, I found my game. I'm happy. Mage's Musings, Sean said it best. He said, when you find the game you love, you will be happy to run it forever. Yeah. And I believe I've found it for fantasy. I believe I've got the thing. I got to do some work on it. I got to tweak it to match my desires, but it's easy to do. And it doesn't bring a bunch of baggage with it that makes me go, ugh, I don't want things to work like that. But because of the mechanics, it has to be like that.
Yeah, and if I could get away with it, I would write down my system. I mean, I say I play D&D, and for the most part, that's what it is. But I borrow a lot of elements from other game systems into it. And it's if anybody else were to sit down at my table and play, thinking that we're playing 5th edition, they would be in for a very heavy shock. Part of what you were saying about 2024, I'm very tempted to do like what you were talking about. Give it a fair shake, only considering its rule set. Ignore the 2014 version of it. Approach this as if it's, the newest thing out there, which, I mean, it is the newest one out there. But not compare it to anything else. Just run it as if it's its own system, its own game, without homebrewing the hell out of it like I have, every other edition.
Yeah.
And see if it does stand on its own. I'd be very curious to see how effective that. I'd be very curious to see if I could effectively pull that off.
Yeah. Would you run a live stream?
I don't know.
What is your hesitancy? And by the way, Goss and Rome, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's a very kind thing to say about Heroic, sir.
Where did he? Oh, yeah.
That really the reason I like Heroic so much is because it's actually competing in a niche where there isn't much competition and there's enough anti-Marvel sentiment that it could succeed. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I backed it because, I mean, I remember playing, some of the superhero games from the days of yore, and leading up to the backer kit, I mean, you were blasting, all kinds of tables and charts and stuff on there, and I'm like, oh man, I remember that.
Yeah.
And of course, you and I kind of met over the Marvel superhero game.
Yes,
that
we did.
Is so wildly different than what the playtest book that we originally got.
And the worst part is, I liked the playtest.
Yeah, I did too.
And
That's the version of the game I wanted to play.
Yeah, and they made so many changes for instead of going, this is the game we want to make and we're going to make it. They were so tied into what the feedback they were getting from everyone was, and I feel really bad for Matt. Matt's a great guy. He's a very friendly friend of my channel.
Yep.
Love Matt to tears. Wish him nothing but success. The guy's prolific, But I can feel that Matt was just told to do stuff and he did stuff. It doesn't feel like a Matt game, It feels like a game by committee, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
So Heroic came into existence because of that.
Yeah, and so I mean that's I find that fascinating, and that's well, I mean I've always found the superhero role playing games fascinating, and what Goth said, I mean there's a niche there that has had a hole for a very long time.
Yeah,
and so that's why I'm kind of excited about Heroic coming out. But to answer your question, would I ever do a live stream? So my number one hesitation in doing a live stream, I have always said no, I wouldn't, because I have tried in the past, and it's always devolved into, hey, what are we doing for dinner tomorrow night? Are we still going over to James' house? Do you think he'd want pizza? What if I got pepperoni on it and pineapple? Oh yeah. So I want to go around the barrel over there, and what kind of role do I need to take? So I mean, you get shit like that happens where somebody's just talking to somebody else off camera. Yeah. They don't mute their mic. They, they have kids in the background singing something. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes it's very distracting, or you'll get somebody that has to get up and go take a piss and they're gone for an hour. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot we were playing.
See, I've never had.
The camera's been going the whole time.
Huh? I've never had those issues.
Oh man,
I run a lot of live streams.
I have constantly.
Well, how about this? Let me make you a proposal. You put together a short adventure for D&D 2024. What?
Okay.
What does that mean? What is this?
A proposal?
Anyway, you put together a short beginning, middle, and end. Yes, exactly. A short beginning, middle, and end for a D&D 2024 game. I will get you players that you can rely on, and I'll be one of them.
I'd do a one-shot.
And I'll even talk this Aussie bastard into giving it a fair shake.
I would do a one-shot.
But one-shots, you don't get the feel for the game.
I've already been roped into a one-shot.
Okay, then we could do a three-shot.
Ooh, that's kinky. Tell me more about this three-shot. No, don't do it. I don't ever want to know what's behind the beard.
I don't know. There's just a shirt. I would need to wait until February, at least February of 2025.
That's fine. I will let me know when, and I will find you 3 other than myself, awesome players, and we'll come give it a fair shake. I promise you.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to trying it. I think it would be fun. Fuck.
You know why I never want to know what's behind the beard, by the way? I was convinced there was a Quatu behind there.
No, that's in the beard.
Ah, that's where the birds live. Rat queens. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. No, what were we talking about before we got on that? Look, Heroic is Heroic. I'm doing my best with it. It's great. It's fun. And I hope to God people are going to love it. And I hope to God people are going to play it more than anything else. I have this cold fear in my heart of it's just going to be a shelf book for most of the people.
I mean, honestly, it might be.
Breaks my heart.
But I wouldn't. I mean, I'm going to play it. I mean, I can't guarantee that my players are going to flock to it. But I mean, hell, if that's all that if that's all that I put on the table and that's all that we play, then they'll either keep playing it or they'll go somewhere else and play with someone else.
Anyway, listen, and that's great, and I appreciate everybody's support on this. Anybody got an extra 20,000 lying around they can throw my way? Come on in. I need it, but that's beside the point. I'm literally at the point where I'm considering buying lotto tickets now, just in case, because
Ouch.
I don't need a big prize. I just need one of those. And we gave out, $10,000 winners. I'm one of them. Yay! Like that's all I need. But yeah, it's going to come out. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I hope people play it. The Patreon has shown for those who are on it, I produce material for you. There is material you can play forever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fantasy games, you ever notice no one argues about encumbrance in any other game?
I don't use encumbrance.
No, but do you ever know someone ever argues about it? You're never playing a sci-fi game. People are arguing about how much shit they can carry. You're never playing a superhero game. People are arguing about how much shit they can carry. You're never playing Call of Cthulhu and people are arguing about how much shit they can carry. You play D&D. Everybody's arguing about how much shit they can carry. It's insane.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I've ever had that discussion come up.
I have.
But I mean, we've always had ways to work around that, a bag of holding or whatever.
Well, okay. So
dimensional portal, whatever.
If you find a bag of holding, you've clearly fallen through a hole in space and time and wound up in some weird dimension where bag of holdings exist. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I were a superhero, I doubt that I would really need that much gear.
Unless you're a gear-based character.
Well, maybe if I'm a gear-based character, but I don't know. I mean, what
Batman and the belt of many pockets.
Belt of holding.
I mean, I can't. I'm racking my brain, and I can't really think of a gear-based character that's in
Hank Pym.
Kingpin.
Hank
Pym.
Oh, Hank.
The original Ant-Man.
Right.
Or Giant Man.
When Kurt Busiek and George Perez, rest in peace, were doing the Avengers after the heroes were born, Hank Pym's whole thing was he was using Pym particles to shrink things and put them in pouches on his costume. So they would have them when they need them. So it's like, we don't have a Quinjet. Poop, swoop, Quinjet. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit, which is kind of cool. It was a smart way to do it.
So Not Your Echo suggests to run Uni in the Hunt for the Lost Horn. I mean, that would be a one-shot. It's really designed to run in about 2 to 3 hours. But I think I'd really rather do, if I'm going to run one, it's going to be, it'll be something that is original. Just so that, I mean, there's no risk of anybody kind of knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah. That's fair. I'll play. I'll find you players, I promise.
Seraphis, what about you?
Oh, he's playing. He just doesn't realize it yet.
Well, like being roped into running a one-shot for someone else. Okay, I guess I'm being forced into doing a 2024.
I mean,
Do I get to play an Artificer?
It's not a class that's offered. And that bothers the tar out of me. It should have been. It should have been included.
I'm playing a sorcerer, but I want access to the wizard list.
I'm not going to say no. And here's this too. I won't say no to Artificer, but I really need the DMG to come out first before I can say yes or no.
My only thing is that I hate the fact that they turn sorcerers into blasters. Like, you can't be a sorcerer who's got an innate ability with illusion magic or something, because they stripped all of those spells from the sorcerer spell list in 5th edition, and from, by the looks of it, 2024 as well. So
Yeah.
fuck that shit. Like,
I'm gonna play an orc bard named Jorge Sanchez Villalobos Gonzalez.
So this is going to take about 5 minutes to run. You know, this is going to be super easy, actually.
Barely an inconvenience.
So what was the name? What was the name again?
Oh, I just pulled some shit out of my ass. I don't know, what was I saying? So Jorge Sanchez Villalobos Gonzalez.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll refer to your character as Whore.
Ah, there you go. You may call me what you like, but you will never take my orcish pride.
Well, guys, I appreciate it.
The orcs were in the mountains. We were forced to eat our own, but that's okay. We're very tasty.
I think I'm going to call it here. Again, this was a 2-part thing, and part of it was to test out how the live stream service was, and I think I'm okay with it. I'm going to explore it a little bit and see, what other features it actually has. Bear, any parting words? I know you've got Heroic that you're working on.
And MythQuest. I'm also working on MythQuest.
What is that?
That's my
new project.
It was originally just going to be my house ruled RuneQuest, but it's slowly turning into, I like a lot of stuff in BRP, but there's some stuff I want to do, and I'm going to add that in. And it's going to be my version of Heroic for RuneQuest, basically.
So is this going to be a future backer kit?
No idea. Right now, it's just a fun project for me to work on.
Okay, fair enough. Seraphus.
A dingo didn't eat my baby.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
A dingo didn't eat my baby.
A dingo didn't eat my baby.
Wow.
Fair dinkum.
Now that is that takes me back to the 80s.
You know what the worst part is? After all the abuse and shit that woman had to suffer, a dingo ate her fucking baby. They finally found its jumper and stuff like that, and the DNA proves it was her daughter, and it was clearly torn apart by wild animals and all this shit. And it's but people Seinfeld mocked her. Can you imagine this poor woman?
And that's a great place to end the stream.
Yeah.